So good morning, this is day number 5 for us here in Ypres. Today it's moving day. I'm going to drive south, I'm going to go to the Somme and check out the battlefields over there in that portion of France. I'm going to drive to Albert, it's about a 2-hour drive, and I think we're going to stop at Serre Road Cemetery number 2 first. So guys, good morning. Going to the Somme.
To the Somme.
Excited?
Yeah. It's my... I'm always hesitant using the word favourite when it comes to places like this, but the Somme is my favourite of the Western Front.
Most interesting.
Yeah, it's the one I have the most connection with. That's probably the way to describe it. Yeah, same for me. Obviously my great-grandfather fought at the Somme and survived, so yeah, it's going to be really cool to see.
First time there?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's going to be great. Sandro, you've been there before?
To the Somme, yeah, multiple times already.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still excited?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Especially for Sean, it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Do we know where for, Sean?
So first stop here in the Somme. We stopped at Cemetery, Commonwealth Cemetery. It's Serre Road Cemetery number 1. There's also Serre Road Cemetery number 2. So here are the guys. We're going into the first stop of the day. Serre Road Cemetery number 1. It's a Commonwealth Cemetery up on the hill there. That's a French cemetery. And yeah, we're gonna go in now. I think Chris has some stories to tell. Some of the soldiers that are buried here.
So, in 1916, the British Army made a decision that any soldier under the age of 19 was not to serve on the front lines. And so if you were in the Army, they were pulling you off the front line if you were less than 19. And so Horace Isles, his sister, wrote him a letter. And she said this, she said, "We did hear that they were fetching all back from France under 19. For goodness sake, Horace, tell them how old you are. I'm sure they will send you back if they know you're only 16. You've seen quite enough. Now just chuck it up and try to get back. You won't fare no worse for it. If you don't do it now, you will come back in bits, and we want the whole of you. Your loving sister, Flory." Those were from a letter that she wrote to Horace that was returned to her unopened, marked "killed in action" on the outside of the letter, and that's how she found out that her 16-year-old brother had been killed on the first day of the Battle of the Somme.
That's just insane, 16 years. You can also see on this cemetery that the gravestones are really close together. There's not much space between them. And that's because they dug a big trench, and that's where they put all the bodies in. So it's not like it's a separate graves, it's just one trench across the whole line. Placed the bodies in it and then filled it up. So one of the things that some of us always do when we go out to these battlefields on World War One, is go onto the fields and look for some artifacts. You can find lots of shrapnel, bullets and other stuff from the war, especially if they just plowed a field or something like that. So Sean and Sandra are here searching for stuff.
We found a lot of things already, like lead balls, barbed wire. There's some glass there with some German text on it, the top of a fuse. And look what we found here. The nicest part of barbed wire. And you can see it's German because it's pretty close together. The French and the British had it more apart. But yeah, pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Just laying here. He's also nice, huh? You were here with your wife?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Okay. What did she find about it?
She actually really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
So we have Serre Road number 3 cemetery, and right by the cemetery there's this pretty big shell. I think the farmer probably found it and placed it over there to have it picked up.
To be buried in there?
Yeah.
That's usually when you see them off to the side like that, it'll say across the top.
So we walked up a dirt road from the cemetery And here we have a memorial to the Accrington Pals. It says so many of whom fell here during the attack on Serre, July 1st, 1916, in the opening phase of the Battle of the Somme. And over here we have like a little divot in the landscape. There was a support trench. And here on the other side of the road where the vegetation starts, that's where the front line trench was. And the Accrington Pals, they charged over there where the cemetery is. And that's less than 100 meters. And 600 soldiers of the Accrington Pals lost their lives in like 20 minutes charging that short distance to where the cemetery is. And yeah, that's where they were buried. Or a lot of them were buried, not all of them. So yeah, crazy. So that's Queen Cemetery. We also have here Railway Hollow Cemetery.
I think they actually
It's down there.
up here on the line until like 4 in the morning. You can see the saps here. Those were those approach. And I think what they typically did was they would have like a Stokes mortar or something, and maybe a machine gun. And they would go up like a small, like a Lewis gun or something. They'd go up the saps.
As well. That's crazy. Just for a good reference, should I stand in it?
Oh yeah,
Because on camera you don't really see how deep it is.
it's a big crater. Yeah, so we're behind the British lines now, and this whole area was shelled by the Germans.
Yeah.
And we have a huge shell here, shell crater. So Sandra has volunteered to go in.
I'll go in if you film with my camera as well, two-handed.
Yes, I can do that.
I got my Nikes on, so I hope I don't slip.
You'll be alright. If not, I have a camera, so good for the blooper reel.
Oh, this was not the this was not the best idea. I don't think on camera it looks that steep.
Yeah,
So this is a little bit of a better reference.
yeah, for sure.
Camera.
Now to get out.
Go on this side.
Action.
Action. So we are. What? Lancashire. So we are now standing here at one of my favorite spots in the whole of the Somme, and this is the Sunken Lane, and other people as well call it the Sunken Road. But the Lancashire Fusiliers were here during the First World War on July 1st, 1916. They were set up there in this, yeah, literally what the word says, Sunken Lane, and they needed to go over the top to get that German position that was over there in the tree line across the field. So yeah, on July 1st, 1916, they went over the top, and they didn't came very far, like 100 meters, and they were almost all of the whole regiment was dead, of the two companies that were here, by the way. And yeah, you can see there's a cemetery where Sean is now walking to, in the middle of all the fallen soldiers who are sitting in there. As well, there's a few German soldiers laying there on the British cemetery as well, which is kind of
There's
weird.
some footage of the guys who went over the top, right?
Yeah, I have some footage. I can send it to you.
Who are watching, maybe where they can find it.
Yeah,
Maybe talk about it a little
on
bit?
my video. Yeah, I have also a video on my YouTube channel about the Sunken Lane here specifically. It's like a 7-minute video, and there I explain like everything with drone footage, with sort of map animations and stuff, what really happened here. So it's definitely worth a watch to understand how special this place is, because really it shows the absolute absurdity of World War I. Because they were sitting here, they needed to take that German position. They ran across the field for like 100 meters and almost all died. Like the absurdity of of World War I, the strategies and tactics that they used is just this small part. It's so well. It tells it so well.
Yeah,
like how absurd it is.
It's hard to comprehend why they did stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that famous footage is also in the Peter Jackson documentary.
Yeah, as well. That's why what I have in my video as well. So,
people can find it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to watch
And
that.
behind you, over there.
Yeah.
There's the Hawthorne Ridge.
Oh yeah, that's Hawthorne Ridge over there by here, where the trees are.
Yeah.
And they set off a huge mine. You can also see that in Sander's video. I will put a link in the description to that video.
Oh,
What's
wow.
it? Oh, Chris
Cool.
found something.
Yeah, top of below at the bottom of a fuse. That's really cool. And you see, this isn't copper. Oh, it is copper. Yeah, it is oxidized. Yeah.
Copper.
Yeah. So bring it, and then we can clean it later on.
Yeah.
You just
So that would have been what, in between the fuse and the
and the
rest of it?
shell. Well, so Chris, what did you find?
So here we have Sander in the field. He always loves going to the fields, look for relics, and we walked in a couple of meters and we already found some stuff. Barbed wire, bullets, these little lead balls which they use in shells. You can also find them. The stuff is everywhere. So Rob is going off in that direction, and to his right we have a cemetery, one of many in this area. They're all over the place. And I'm gonna walk behind this ridge. I can show you in a little bit. So in the previous clip, that's Hawthorne Ridge. They set off a huge mine there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a look up there. Information board where they tell some stuff about Hawthorne Ridge, what happened here. And here you can see the actual mine exploding. There's some moving footage on it. It's in Sander's video, which I'll put a link in the description of, as I told before. And you can see it exploding. So now I now made it up to Hawthorne Ridge, and this is where the mine was exploded, and you can still see, I hope you can see it on video. It's pretty hard to see that, but yeah, it's clearly, slopes going down, huge craters left behind. There's a walking path over there, so I'm gonna go down into the crater. Walking into the crater now. Yeah.
Just put him on the spot like that.
What?
No, man, I
what
can
this
do
place
this
is?
one.
What this place is?
So we're currently at Newfoundland Memorial Park, just near Beaumont-Hamel, and this is a place, really interesting site here, because when you come here, you can see the remains of British trenches, you can see the area that was no man's land, and then you can see the remains of German trenches. It's one of the few places around the Somme, in fact probably the only place around the Somme where you can see it literally laid out in that way. Really interesting site, and of course the site where there were huge casualties with the men from the Newfoundland Regiment. And that's why it is Newfoundland Memorial Park.
Action.
So these are the British trenches. This isn't actually the front line. This is like the support line trench, and then the front line trench is the next one that runs up over there. You will see a trench further forwards than that, which confuses people. The front line was front line on the 1st of July was the first one we're going to see up here, and then the trench further out is called the Wellington Trench, which was dug later in November, before they attacked Wye Ravine the second time.
Let's do that again. No, I'm joking.
I mean, there's a Canadian flag flying out the front.
So yeah, you can actually walk in the front line trenches here.
Let's do it.
So they call this the danger tree, and it's basically about, it kind of marks as far as any of the Newfoundland regiment got. My assumption is, and I can't confirm this, but the reason they all kind of came in this direction is if you look at where the Germans were, there's this depression here, and they could get under the machine gun fire. I don't think the machine guns could depress enough to hit you if you were over here. So I think a lot of them were just going for cover. Artillery could still hit them, but yeah, this is kind of as far as they got from those woods to here. And really only, what, maybe 50 yards in front of the front line.
So it was like 700 guys?
Like a little over 700 of them, and about I think just under 70 answered roll call the next day.
Yeah, 90%.
Yeah, it was the
90%.
worst for any battalion on July 1st, and that's why to this day in Newfoundland their Remembrance Day isn't November 11th like it is in the rest of the Commonwealth. It's July 1st.
So we're now in the house in Ypres,
In Albert.
little place that we rented out.
It's a nice spot.
It's not as nice as the house in Ypres, but this is only for 2 nights, so it's okay. Got a little garden area where we can sit. Rob is going, he's going to do some filming.
Only for a bit, about an hour I reckon. I'll be back.
The JD work ethic rubbed off on you. He's going to go out and do some filming at 6 o'clock in the evening.
So I'm getting it from you, JD.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm leaving the key on the table.
Yeah, no problem.
Right.
Check out the guys over here.
But I can't promise how long I'll be there, you know?
It's going to be like an hour or so, isn't it?
Sander and Sean's room. You're going to spoon together tonight?
No, we've opted to be as far apart as possible, so I'm going to go there.
That's maybe.
He opted it. I wanted
It's probably
him
a
as
good
close as
idea.
possible, but
Probably a good idea,
I have to
yeah.
wear my chastity belt to stop him getting near me.
Swallow a fork.
so can I still say something to your followers?
We're still pretty close to the church tower in Albert. You want to say something to my followers, yeah?
Everybody, please do some research and find a way to learn about Operation Market Garden. Please do it, whatever you can. This is, by the way, from Urquhart's story. General Urquhart's.
I'll
Pretty
probably
cool.
edit this out because this is a World War One
That's
video.
the blooper.
Oh, that's Mr. Chris Mowry of Rocket to History.
Bonjour.
You got a nice room as well. Nice and spacious.
You waiting for me?
Yeah,
Oh, now
let's
it's
go.
awkward, yeah. Oh yeah, I need to be annoying, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the way to
Don't need to be annoying, you're just fucking annoying all the time anyway. ADHD or something.
Oh, we need to give you like a Rubik's Cube or something.
You need a
Because he's
Rubik's
fiddling all the time with me here in the car. Oh, that sounds so weird.
This is
by
what
the
it's
way.
like in the car.
Fiddling you all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, you see?
6 days, grabbing each other's nuts, and
Normally I am just...
we're on our way to Thiepval. Rob, can you tell us once again what is Thiepval?
Take 2. We're going to Thiepval Memorial, which is the largest memorial to the missing in this area of the Somme. So it has the names of more than 72,000 soldiers who have no known grave. So lost, killed on the battlefields, and then no known grave. Some of those guys might be buried in lots of the unknown gravestones that we see in the cemeteries, but they're all named on the memorial. More than 72,000 names.
Crazy. So that's day number 6. We're on our way.
I think 5, right?
Yeah, on your video it's 5. Me it's 6.
I said 5 in my vlog and I'm like, oh no, wait.
So we're now inside the museum at Thiepval. And here in the floor they have some relics on display. Some shells.
Rum jar in it. Well, these helmets are intact.
Helmets. Here's some stuff that they found on the battlefield.
5 models. About 3 here, 2 in Ypres.
So here we have the shells with the lead balls in it.
Yeah.
And Sean has quite a collection now of those lead balls. He won't give any of them to us, but
Much more over here.
oh yeah. Oh.
Hey Sean, I found some more.
Sean. So from the memorial, from the museum, it's a small walk up to the memorial, and here it is. Here you can see Chris walking up. You can see how big it is. Huge. Shit, look at all the names, man. Look how big this thing is.
This entire panel right here.
Huge. So like Rob said in the beginning, there are 77,000 names of this memorial, and yeah, you can see it right here. It's everywhere. All these white sections, they are inscribed with names. So right behind the memorial to the missing, we have the cemetery. To the left are French soldiers. To the right, the Commonwealth with the cross of sacrifice in the middle. And you have an amazing view over the valley. So I'm now walking on a pathway along Lochnagar Crater. This is probably the biggest and most impressive crater here in the Somme area. I'm not going to show you the crater just yet. Chris is going to tell us a little bit about the history behind this place, what happened here. And then I'm going to show you the crater. Just hope yeah, that it shows on video, because it's always difficult to see the depth. But if you're standing here, it's crazy. So yeah, I hope it shows. I'm going to find Chris now. He's going to tell us a little bit about what happened here.
So here at the Lochnagar Crater, we're at about the position of the German frontline trench, which would have run along this way. And there was a major kind of fortified area called the Scots Redoubt that was off in the distance there. And the division that was attacking here, you had the 10th Lincolns on our right, and next to them were the Royal Scots. And what happened was when the bomb exploded, the mine exploded at 7:28, the attack was supposed to go immediately afterwards. But the guys on the 10th Lincolns, these are new soldiers, these are PALS battalions, they haven't really experienced much combat. They waited because they were afraid of falling debris from the mine. So they held off and they didn't start advancing. Well, the Royal Scots on their right did advance. And so as they advanced, they got exposed to enfilading fire by the German machine guns. And so instead of going straight forward as they were supposed to, they started veering off to the right, and they ended up wandering into the next division over. And it just caused a lot of confusion. There were a ton of casualties here in Sausage Valley. But the Royal Scots, which one of those units, the 16th Royal Scots, that's McRae's battalion. These are the footballers, professional soccer players, we would call them in America. And they end up not only making it through, they get up and over that ridge, and they find some safe area to kind of regroup, and the ones that are left surviving move on to Contalmaison. It's one of the furthest advances that any of the British forces make on July 1st.
So that tree line.
So now I will show all of you the crater, and yeah, like I said, I hope you can see it. It's insane. This is it. Oh yeah, you can see probably how steep the slopes are. So this place is gigantic. Here's some better view here as well. Drops down right here. Just all the way around. It's all part of the crater.
You filming? Right. So on the first day of the Somme, the British front lines ran from this direction over this hill, and then got to this area here. So this was known as Mansell Copse, and the trenches came across and then did like a funny right angle where they came along here towards us, and then across here behind me, and then down the slope and over where you can see the small cemetery over there. That's the Gordon Cemetery, and then they went up the hill on the far side. You guys who watched the documentary yesterday, Charlie May, he left a trench that was up on the top of the hill over there, attacking across here to Metz. And this trench here is where the 8th and 9th Devonshires were. They attacked from a trench right here, and they had to go across this valley. So you see how the land like opens up and slopes up the other side. Yeah. And when we get into the cemetery, you'll see, we'll talk about Captain Duncan Martin, who before the battle here, he talked about his reservations, and in fact he made a plasticine model of the battlefield, to kind of demonstrate to senior officers, look, based on the land and where we're going to attack from. And he picked out a specific machine gun in a place called the Shrine, and he felt that with this valley, that machine gun was going to have devastating effects. And that machine gun was based, if you look across, you can see the farm buildings. Just slightly to the right of the farm buildings, there's some trees. That's a cemetery. It's the civilian cemetery of the Mets, and the machine gun he was talking about was based there. And really, the rest of the story needs to be told in the cemetery up the hill.
Then let's go to the
There you
cemetery.
go.
Action.
I was barely ready. Go on then. Right, okay. So the guy who we were just talking about with the plasticine model and the prediction of the what could potentially happen here. So first day of the Somme, the trenches ran along this tree line and then took a right turn and went along the length of the cemetery that we're stood in right now. Now there was a massive build-up of guys who came into this, of course, in preparation for the attack. Now the Germans noticed that, and so they put down artillery fire onto the British frontline trench. Because of that, the decision was made that the guys should move back and attack from their reserve line trench. So they left a trench that was up here at the top of this mound, and you can see how it slopes down towards us. Now, of course, if you remember at the time, these trees weren't here. So when those guys left that reserve line trench, they had to come down this slope in the open with the German lines on the other side of the valley. And during that attack, Captain Duncan Martin, exactly as predicted, was killed by possibly machine gun fire, possibly from the machine gun he predicted, or maybe from rifle fire. But Captain Duncan Martin was killed before he even reached back to his own frontline trench. So he was killed somewhere out here in the field behind us. And his grave is here in the Devonshire Cemetery. Captain Duncan Martin.
So a lot of guys on the Western Front, they were writers, or they turned to writing to express their feelings. And Lieutenant William Noel Hodgson was one of those men, and he wrote a poem called Before Action as he was anticipating the attack that was going to come here. And 2 days before the attack on July 1st, his poem was published back in Britain. By all the glories of the day and the cool evening's benison, by that last sunset touch that lay upon the hills when the day is done, by beauty lavishly outpoured and blessings carelessly received, by all the days that I have lived, make me a soldier, O Lord. By all of man's hopes and fears and all the wonders poets sing, the laughter of unclouded years and every sad and lovely thing, by the romantic ages stored, with high endeavor that was his, by all his mad catastrophes, make me a man, O Lord. I that on my familiar hill saw with uncomprehending eyes 100 of thy sunsets spill, their fresh and sanguine sacrifice ere the sun swings his noonday sword, must say goodbye to all of this, by all the delights that I shall miss. Help me to die, O Lord.
And I've come to another cemetery. I've seen quite a lot of those on this trip. This is Danzig Alley British Cemetery. Quite a few cool stories here. Probably let Chris or Rob tell some of those stories because they know them way better than I do. We have the grave of Captain Charlie May. Rob is going to tell us a little something about this guy.
So Captain Charlie May, Charles Campbell May, attacked here on the first day of the Somme with the 22nd Manchesters. They had to try and push forwards through 3 lines of trenches, this being the 3rd trench. They successfully took the first 2 trenches, but sadly Charlie was killed as they were moving forwards to this position here, Danzig Alley Trench. We're in Danzig Alley Cemetery, named after the German trench where this cemetery sits. And the thing that makes Charlie's story really interesting is that during the course of the war he kept a diary, and that diary has since been published. It's in a book called To Fight Among Friends, and it is the diary of Captain Charlie May. I really recommend get hold of that book, read that diary, including one of the last entries he writes in that diary, where he writes a letter to his wife, thinking about the fact there's a chance he'll be killed in battle. It's really heart-wrenching. He then was killed in the battle, and he's here in Danzig Alley.
Here we have the grave of Walter
Lloyd.
Walter Lloyd. And
So I was on eBay about 14 months ago and found a medal for sale for a British soldier who had been killed at the Somme. His name was Walter Lloyd, from the 1st Battalion East Lancashire Regiment, same unit that my cousin Edward Whittaker was in, same battalion. And not long after I got that one, I got a message from somebody telling me that another one of his medals was up for sale, and so I got that one too. And was able to do a little research into his story. Found out that he was serving with a Manchester battalion here when he was killed near Ginchy. So I brought this photo here a year ago, brought his medals, cap badge and shoulder pin from his unit here. He also had a brother named Robert who was in the same battalion, who was killed at Plug Street Wood outside of Ypres in 1914. He enlisted a few weeks after his brother was killed.
This is my boy Sander. We're now here at Thiepval Wood.
Helemaal geen zin meer in.
Oh, he's talking Dutch. I'll put subtitles below the screen.
I'm joking, guys.
Over here we have the big cemetery at Thiepval Wood. There's the memorial.
Did you say Sean?
Gonna walk up there.
Those are Commonwealth graves, right?
Yeah.
From South Africa?
Huh?
Those are the South Africans?
We have the memorial to the South African soldiers
Here we have Marcel.
who fought and died here.
Marcel filming a video. So Marcel, how many subscribers do you have?
6100 something.
I almost have 100,000.
Yeah, but you don't upload shit.
I'm joking.
How much do you make on your YouTube channel?
Not much. Almost nothing.
So, just behind the memorial you have a little museum. It's free. You have this nice, how do you call it, a mural? Something like that. To the South African soldiers fought here. I have some uniform here. That's pretty cool to see always. The 6th South African Infantry service dress. That's pretty cool. Go!
No.
So we're at the supermarket.
What's the point? It's a waste of glass. Because you open it and sniff it and it's gone.
It's like baby size.
Get that away from me.
Guys,
What the fuck even is that?
we've got a Brit here with us and he needs beer, so. The guys and I have come to a field here in the Somme and we decided to do some relic hunting. All the stuff that we found we're gonna stash here with Sean. So I found this piece of barbed wire. You said it was English?
I believe it's English, yeah, because the German barbs were quite close together. So you'd have two sections of barb, then it would move up a bit, but this is...
Yeah, this is one, and then I also found this. This is a piece of small shell.
This was all I wanted to do on the last evening, was have a beer with the
I here found just another big piece.
Oh wow.
This is a slightly larger shell. I think it's still intact. Or you can see this is my hand. You can see how big it is. I don't know if it's been fired yet or not. I think the top is missing, so maybe it's empty, but yeah, we're not gonna play around with this one.
That's a cool one, right?
I wanna keep my hands intact.
Go back with a fun trip and multiple fingers lost.
So that's the stuff that you find here on this field. There's Sander over there. Oh, it's got them. Yeah, barbed wire again.
Barbed wire.
Something really cool. What is it?
A fuse. It's the top of a fuse again.
Top of a fuse.
So already is a fuse, top of a shell.
Yeah.
Some cartridges I have in my back pocket as well, some more cartridges. But yeah, man, there's a lot of things still here. Also, I found some bigger parts of fuses.
Yeah.
So like maybe half of this. Also have it in my back pocket. Yeah, if you just go up in this field, there's a lot to find. You saw that shell? Did you film the shell?
Yeah.
So it's a really cool place on the former frontline battlefields. And you still see the traces of war.
Wednesday morning, day number 6. Trip is about to wrap up. Everybody's going home today, or some of us. Chris will be flying home tomorrow morning. Sander is driving home today. And Sean is flying home today. Rob is upstairs. He's going home. Enjoy the trip, Chris?
Very much, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was.
It was a real good one. It's a really good trip. So next time for the audience, pay me €1,000. You can come as well.
Send the VK tours. That's the guy to talk to, especially Market Garden.
That's right. That's true.
You want a Market Garden tour?
Yeah.
Message him. He knows everything about it. So he says.
I can attest he's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did one.
He gave me the talk.
So, hope you guys enjoyed this little vlog video. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.
See you guys.